Hey there, beautiful souls. Just Intuitive Angel Healer here with your grounded guide to the spiritually awakened survivors of the toxic shadows. Welcome to my new YouTube channel and updated podcast channel, Spoken Like an Angel, Enlightenment for Survivors, where my prophetic words are meant to help stimulate so you can raise your vibe and elevate. Thank you so much for being here today. Today is July 18th, 2023. And today it's all about connecting to our sacred rage. And our episode, we are on number 40. I'm excited. That's an accomplishment there. I'm halfway there to 100 almost. So tap into your sacred rage and divine healing, beautiful souls. Spirit really wanted me to talk about this 101 as I'm starting this out. And please hit that like, share, and subscribe button if you guys are enjoying that. That really helps support my cause, 111, as I say that, because during this karmic circus that I knew I maybe made a bad decision marrying my ex at 26, but I really didn't know how this whole karmic circus in my life would personally play out. We know that we make mistakes, but when you get into an actual narcissist relationship or an abusive relationship, you really don't come out of it the same person, but you can come out healed. And I want to let you guys know that because I have been through some pretty toxic, some pretty rough stuff out there. And if you're a survivor of the toxic shadows, that's why you're listening, because you guys can totally be like, yeah, I've been there. And it's not about our stories being harder than one another's. It's about us supporting each other and giving each other that support and releasing that narcissism programming and training that you were put through all those years of the abuse. Because I think one of the hardest things of surviving, it's not actually being in the actual event of the abuse. I have had all kinds of forms of abuse happen to me apparently since I was born, and the plot thickens over here, but I'll let you guys know more about that later. And the reason why I let you guys know is not because I like putting people on blast, and I just say that because this is why I'm going to get into this issue about sacred rage. Because if you've noticed, the veil is lifting. There are a mass influx of light workers that are coming here. Spirit is doing this because if you looked at our 1900s, 1800s, 1700s, we didn't do really good in being nice to each other, and there were a lot of karmic lessons created, especially in the 1900s, 1800s, Spirit saying as well. So some of these karmic lessons put fear into people. And the thing about if you've been abused, a lot of it is about controlling you, making you quiet, making you do what somebody wants you to do. And that's where you come into the freeze and fawning, because ultimately if you went through chaos when you were a kid and say your parents were really toxic and they had domestic violence issues, stuff like that, you learn how to survive through those situations. You learn how to not poke the bear. I personally learned how to not poke the bear. I had a very, very narcissistic, grandiose, alcoholic father growing up, and he also put drugs in the mix too, and pills. So that man used to say I'm walking in Ativan land, and he was not joking, but he was quick to anger. And see, there's a thing about anger and rage. His was not anger. His was just straight up rage. And that's not his rage was not sacred. And I actually have a TikTok video that I discussed. It's way at the beginning of my TikTok, but I actually discuss the difference between anger and rage, because anger is an emotion, it's an energy. It ends up becoming rage where it's lethal and can hurt people by being suppressed and unexpressed. I got that backwards in the video, by the way. But anyways, most people, when they go through this abuse of, the freezing, the fawning, that's where you just try to keep everything cool and say it's okay. If you're a survivor, you know that word, it's okay and I'm fine. Those are 555. Somebody is going through that right now, that it's not okay and it's not fine. And it's not okay for somebody to viciously yell at you because they're having a bad day, or to pick up things and hit you with them. I don't care what age you are. It's not okay. It is not okay to put our hands on each other. That is not a good way to express anger. But I am going to talk about a good way to express anger, because again, we have a sacred rage in us. And I found this beautiful article that it's from rebelsociety.com, and it is all about connecting sacred rage, the feminine key to transformation. And so they go into this about an aspect of the feminine that isn't always talked about, is sacred rage. Okay, and ultimately, girls are conditioned, especially, to not be angry. We're encouraged to be nice, pretty, quiet, and that hinders us. It's kind of like the princess thing. When we talk about the princesses, most of us are encouraged to not fully feel our anger, and that's connected to our sensual power and strength. Because like I said, you have a feminine and a masculine side. If you're in your masculine side all the time, that's your warrior side. That's where your sacred rage lies. And your unexpressed emotions, by the way, they get stored in your lower back. So if you have a lot of lower back issues, for one, you don't feel supported. And for two, that's where all that unexpressed anger of all the disrespect that people have put on you. It's kind of like when Spirit showing me an episode of Flanders, when he finally just breaks apart. He finally just taps into his sacred rage, because it is there. You can't just keep poking someone. And that's why I say the lion's not is sleeping, it's not dead. That's because we all have the sacred anger. That's where our ego is. Our ego is supposed to be balanced, so it is our protector. If it's not balanced, then it just becomes a fearful coward, and we do a lot of unbalanced things. So she goes on to say, many women have lost their connection to feeling anger within themselves. I know for myself, it's been part of my own process of coming back to igniting my capacity to feel anger strongly, to truly feel it, to feel this fire, a sacred fire that burns within, an elixir of life. Anger is shakti, Shakti, and it's an emotion and an energy that is no less valuable than a wave of joy, sadness, or love. So we need to not invest so much into this. When we get these fits of these emotions, waves of anger, Spirit saying, yeah, waves of anger that come over us, you have the power to control them, and it's about channeling them. So this article goes on to say, anger is powerful, anger is healthy, anger is transformative. And that's when you finally have had enough. That's when she says a rage, that you get the sacred rage, and it propels us into sacred activism to do something instead of believing we are powerful to create change, to take holy action where we can inseminate ripples of light. We all have our part to play in the greater tapestry. We all have our thread that is connected to the whole. And she also goes on to say it burns through complacency, and we need more change makers. The earth needs us all to rise up and step up. So definitely, and then so I wanted to look into this more. 1034 as I say this. So I found this other article on Farm Easy, and it's 12 places where body stores stress. One of them is the lower back. Our lower back stores most of our unexpressed anger. Many people develop severe and debilitating pain in the lumbar region of the back. Chronic stress activates the sympathetic nerve system that puts pressure on the spinal cord. So, and to offer some relief to your tired body, learn to express your anger in clear, simple terms and articulate your frustration to the concerned people. Over a period of time, you will learn how to use your anger to fuel your personal and creative growth. Assert yourself to give yourself control over the situation. This will lead to healthier relationships and a healthier body, especially your gut or your back. The next one is where's the second place? Your gut. There's a reason why people lose control over their bladders or their bowels when they are sacred. Our stomachs and when they are scared. Sorry. That's funny. Sacred, scared, tied in. Our stomachs and intestines store our feelings of fear. The adage, I'm sick to my stomach, justifies this. Fear is another negative emotion that has far reaching repercussions on our health. It can cause digestive problems, pain in the gut, bloating, constipation, and even IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome. Peppermint tea helps calming the stomach, so does ginger. Also accept your fear and the reasons why you're feeling it, and talk to someone you trust to get a hold of yourself. Research believes that if you talk about your fears openly, it has lesser control over your health. And I'm going to put these two articles in there because they're really good. It's really good, especially if you're feminine, to know if you've been abused or any kind of abuse, your courage has been attacked. And you're ultimately maybe you might still be in that Stockholm syndrome of being nice to your abuser because they've really went in there and rewired your brain. It's not because you're silly, you're not stupid, you're not any of those negative things that the darkness is telling you. You are simply healing, and you were preyed on. I was preyed on by the darkness. I've never had a dark soul, and never once have I had thoughts of doing dark things. But the darkness my whole life has been following me and trying to trap me into doing dark things. And maybe we've all dabbled into doing our share of things we're not proud of, but I've never done anything dark. And there's a difference, because people make mistakes and maybe do embarrassing things, but they don't go to the darkness. That's just a whole nother world. If you live in that world and you have no love in your heart, and it's just a cold, empty shell, and you're Cruella de Vil, you know. And even if you're pretending to the rest of the world you're Mr. Nice Guy, if you have no soul in there. Narcissism is not only a disease, it's a spirit attached to you. Okay, start looking into demons. Okay, before you start internalizing all this is your fault, look into the demon that is attached to that person, and start connecting to this rage. Stop holding your emotions. You're making yourself sick. You're making your stomach sick. Let it out. Okay. Some of us here, like me, myself, and I I thought, at first I thought I was here to just heal people, but I'm not here just to heal people with just doing angel sessions and pulling angel cards. I am actually here to be a whistleblower of truth, an angel of truth. And if you did something that is just so despicable that only God can forgive you for it, I'm probably going to be the one to uncover that. And it took me a long time to be okay with that truth and that fact. But I've done it my whole life. I just couldn't ever figure it out. I've had narcissists come in and I've always had a battle with them. And I'm like, what is this battle that goes on with the narcissist? I know there's something to it. And now that I'm on the spiritual awakening, it's not just somebody out there that's conceited, guys. That's not narcissism. Narcissism is literally refusing to heal, putting all your bad feelings and blaming them on someone else, never taking accountability, sitting there and playing a game with someone's health and trying to break their head and trying to disillusion them so you can take from them and inflict more pain simply because you can. That is what narcissism is. Let me know if that resonates with you. I know I have a bunch of narcissist victims, but it's not just women that it happens to either, my friends. My mom is the biggest covert narcissist, and it took me a long time to go through that and be able to actually say that. Not because I want to talk bad about my family. If I'm talking about someone up here, it's definitely because Spirit is having me reveal truths. And this is because this lifetime is not the only time I've been attacked. I have been severely attacked not only in this lifetime but many lifetimes before. And people, even karmics that weren't supposed to be on this lifetime, snuck in just to give me a good run. I'm ready. I'm here. And the song Chinchilla, I know you guys are hearing the song Little Girl Gone, where she goes, got a gun from a gangster, run little girl, run little girl, run. And then she goes, hustle, bang. Say that again, I didn't quite hear you. Messed with the wrong beat in the wrong era. I've been to work and got my badge of honor. I've changed so much since I saw ya. And she's from British. She's a British singer, excuse me. She's from Britain. And this is actually the reason why you're hearing it so much. They like to play out songs, but I really like this one and I connect with it because it is definitely a survivor song. It is all about connecting to your rage. That's why the beginning she says it really softly, and then all of a sudden she gets really loud because you can tell she's been a part of abuse. And some people will tell you, if you're a light worker, especially me, myself, I've had this 1808 as I say this. I've had people say, you can't say certain things, you can't act certain ways, you can't this and that because you're holy and you're angelic. Well, I don't, if you notice, I don't go around. One thing I don't do is cursing, because cursing is just putting negative energy out there. And I've had enough of that. And I used to curse like a sailor, and that's why I don't do it anymore, because I found out it's not just me. I curse when I get really angry, and that's where I connect to my sacred rage. So if the F word just flies out and it's not an appropriate time, that's because you done past the line of me. I've went to my sacred anger now because I don't do that. I know how to be professional. We know how to gather ourselves. But you know what? If you're a light worker and you're getting bullied or you're getting spiritually attacked, spiritual warfare is not for the faint of heart, and spiritual awakenings are not either. You're actually standing up to your fears. You're the first people in your lineage that is not actually cowering down and actually facing this and saying, may I have another, please? Okay, and it sucks, and the lessons do suck, but they are so freeing, because you have been having these people, like I said, if you believe in past lives, these people have been coming after you, putting witches and warlocks and setting up this strategic game of Tetris in your life that you were unaware of, and now you have been divinely awakened. Connect to that sacred rage, because God's got you. You don't think Archangel Michael's got some divine rage? He's the one who, if you believe, he is the one that overcame the devil and kicked him back down to HE double hockey sticks. Okay, so there is a sacred rage, and that's like when you get angry when somebody hurts a kid, or they're not doing right to a kid or a woman. That rage comes in. You need to express it. So we're going to go into that, because anger is a healthy emotion, but it needs to be channeled. So it's all about a rage ritual. What is a rage ritual? It's creating a safe space to release anger without fear or judgment. This helps you connect to your vulnerability, because your pride and your anger cover up that vulnerability, or you have been programmed your whole life with a bunch of masculines to connect into just rage and masculinity and unhealthy, toxic masculinity, which is just being angry and fighting and all that, but it's not actually channeling something. So then that covers up your vulnerability. You have to have both your vulnerability is connected to your femininity. You have to have both masculine and feminine, because that's where the yin and yang come from. If you have too much of one, that's where the futile response comes from. That's exactly what I'm hearing. Futile response. That's where you just ignite and burn up. So there are, and then I went into another article I found here for 9 triggers of rage, and this guy was talking about, his name's R. Douglas Fields, and he's a very calm government scientist in the and in the 50s in Barcelona, a man tried to rob him and his daughters. So he made this article. This is on businessinsider.com. He ended up putting this guy in a chokehold, and this was like way out of character for him. So he's like, what triggers rage? So you need to know, Spirit wants you to know, you need to know what are your triggers, what's triggering this. And it's about not beating yourself up for it, but knowing that you were triggered into it for a reason. 2222, as I say that. One trigger can be life or death situation. The next one can be an insult. 3 can be family. 4, environment. 5, your spouse, your significant other, because violence between males and females frequently occurs within intimate sexual relationships. This is the trigger for violence in domestic disputes, infidelity, and attacks by jealous lovers. So 6 is social order, and that's when you're in traffic getting mad. 7 is resources. People come up and are trying to take what's yours because they don't think they have what's theirs. 8 is your tribe. Who are you running around with? Are you running around with a bunch of low vibe criminals who are doing bad to others? Or are you running with a high class group of people? It's saying these same triggers of violence we see popping up again and again as the cause for wars, the cause for riots, the cause for violence breaking out at political campaigns and political rallies. That's tribalism. Humans are highly social creatures, so if we feel that our tribe or group is threatened, we can react in rage, and that's how the riot started. And then the last one is stopped, and it says, animals will struggle violently to escape restraint, even to the extent of gnawing off their paw if caught in a trap. Fields writes, humans are no different. We want to be free. One side of this reaction is exemplified by Aaron Ralston cutting his own arm off when he got trapped under a rock. That was in the movie 127 Hours. But this trigger can also be responsible for revolutions, wars, and massacres. That's crazy, right, guys? Like, anyone or more of these triggers, of these 9 triggers, can initiate an automatic rage response. And this is what Field wrote in his book. Whether it does or doesn't depends on additional factors specific to the situation, the individual state of mind, and other contributing stresses and influences. So today, Spirit is saying it's important for you to express your rage. And, if you, that's why they make smash rooms. You can go and create your own way to figure out how to get your anger out, whether it's writing, journaling, running, exercise, but don't put your hands on other people. 25-25. Don't yell at other people. Don't come home and beat your wife because you had a bad day. Like, I had some narcissistic rage. That's been a word lately. Maybe because maybe my ex is going into a narcissistic rage. I don't know. But I know when I don't slander people, I speak the truth because I know my truth will help you brave souls to actually step into your power. 25-55 as I say that, because I know what I've got to heal, and I've finally stepped into my power of and my mission of what I'm going to do. I just had a lot of healing, and you know what? If it takes 6 years of your life to heal 10 years or more of persistent daily narcissistic abuse, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you focus into your healing and that know that life is going to be about lessons, but say thank you to the karmics for the lessons, because they're going to get you back on track for your blessings. And whoever's listening to this right now, resonating, you're about to, if you're not already, in a glow up. Keep ignoring and keep releasing, because the karmics are just trying to keep you in this timeline so they can keep you in the never ending story, is what I'm hearing. Okay, you don't want to be in this never ending story, so please allow my words. That's why Spirit has given me the gift of healing with my words, to allow me to activate your third eye and your crown while you listen to this message and get aligned with the angels. Because if you get aligned, if I activate you during this message, it's because you're getting activated with the angels. And if you've talked to some of my clients out there, it was like the best feeling in the whole wide world, because you actually get the feeling of true love. So if you're feeling that feeling of true love, hit the comment section and let me know, because I truly enjoy knowing that I touch souls out here, even if it's one. I don't care if I have 30 people, 35 people, I don't care. I know that I can have 1,000 overnight. It's about the message truly getting out there and healing someone. Spirit wants you to know, how do you deal with this rage, okay? Because this is the biggest thing, is we have to balance, like, not flipping our cookies on someone and going into our ego and actually being in our higher self. And some days it's easier said than done. So Spirit is saying, focus on freedom, focus on loving yourself. I'm hearing when the full moons are out, you need to go do some full moon things, like, put your crystals out there. Even the divine feminine and Archangel Haniel actually activate you through the moon. We just had a new moon in Cancer, so your emotions are really high right now, but a lot of divine timing is going on in your life, a lot of healing. You're actually getting awoken to your true nature. That's why Archangel Haniel is around you, because she helps you with grace. Okay, and that's where you learn how to have your sacred feminine rage. And that's like that mama bear, like, you don't care, you're going to protect your family, and you can walk through hell or high water. It don't matter. Like, you've seen a woman lift up that car off of their baby. That's what sacred rage is. But you got to know that you're safe and you're protected. Okay, maybe you weren't protected in the past, but now you are. And the low vibe toxic things are not for your highest good. Okay, being sad and emotional rage is not good, is what I'm hearing. You need to be centered. Start working on being centered and release competition. because Spirit wants you to know that you are abundantly loved, and an abundance of love is coming towards you. But you need to know that, be right with yourself first and then give to others. And if you can't give to others, do not feel bad or regretful that you can't give to someone. If you can't give to them that day, we have another day ahead. Okay, but you need to start getting right. And I'm hearing looking at yourself in the mirror and becoming the true reflection in the mirror that you want to see, not the one that you hide from. And that is starting to you do this by releasing the rage, releasing the suppressed anger, and start filtering it, start embracing it. Okay, sometimes I've had releases of emotions where I've just sat here and I've cried, and it's like been the belly cry. Like I just feel something coming out. It's that deep. That is where you need to get your anger. If you need to go hit some balls at the batting cage, go do something, but stop being quiet. Okay? I don't care what people say. They can get mad and say, "You're not divine. You're not holy. Look at you over there." I made a video to Chinchilla. You can go check it out on my TikTok. Because I am a survivor and I don't care. And if you're going to get offended by me expressing over 40 years of suppressed anger, rage, hurt, guilt, shame, blame, whatever people have put on me, then I guess keep on scrolling, because I'm going to keep being divinely authentic. And people are either going to be on my team or not. And they're either going to be on your team or not, but you can't force it. If you force it, that's your first red flag that it's not meant for you. You're having to force it. Spirit is saying it is all about attracting, not chasing. And I have these divine abundance cards, and it says anything or anyone you chase after will run the other way because of the fears underlying chasing energy. Instead, attract what you need by sending out love, gratitude, and welcoming energy. It's time to clear your space right now. We just had a new moon that's all about manifesting. So manifest, focus on what you want, of your desires, and stop putting such a focus on your worries. Okay, I saw somebody, they said, I'm sitting here crying and I'm praying and I'm worrying. Please pray for me. And I've been there before, but then we're contradictive, because if we pray to God, God's hearing us. That's why he has angels. If he can't hear us, the angels hear us. They deliver your prayer up to heaven. But you got to know it's safe to receive. So when your blessings start showing up, you can't say, "Oh, my pride's going to say no. I don't want that," or "I don't need help. I don't want help." You need help from the right people. You need a hand up, not a hand out. And that's what you mean. But start paying yourself first. Start doing things for yourself first. I don't even care if you have a kid. You got to make sure you are well taken care of and you are emotionally stable before you can even take care of that kid, because you're just going to be a ticking time bomb. And that's what a lot of women have become out there, unfortunately, is ticking time bombs. And this is because we haven't been properly taught how to filter and express our emotions. But that's why you're seeing such a raise in the divine feminine lately, and all of these protests and stuff. I don't get into all that, but I can see where that energy is coming from, because people are just tired of being suppressed in general. Different groups are just tired of being suppressed in general. 3333. I'm going to wrap this up. Ascended masters are with us. Everything's happening in divine timing. Let it flow, but let it go. You don't have to hold on to that shame, blame, or guilt. You are not what your abuser said you are. They were just projecting their hate. So misery loves company. I'm not going to listen to you, abuser, for what you told me, because I am none of those things. You are actually everything that you called me. How about that? Here are the letters and the names. So TN, and then I ultimately heard Tennessee. So NXODCMDE, Dave, Miranda, Job, Tony, Machiavelli, Rhonda, Kanisha, Shauna, Flo, Beverly. And then the song is 38 Special. Hold on loosely, but don't let go. If you cling too tightly, you're gonna lose control. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode today, because I listen to the energy that's going on with just in the spiritual land that we are in right now, and I see other people going through it. So if you are also have a platform, keep and this message is definitely for you, because we are all light workers coming up here. Your message has a purpose. If you're being called to write that book, if you're being called to speak your truth, do it, because you're helping someone else out there. You're helping the divine set you up for success, I promise you. But you got to start connecting with and making friends with the divine, instead of worrying about all these toxic humans out there, because they're going to get you where you need to be, I promise. But you gotta release control and surrender to spirit. And that's really hard to do at first when you're a survivor, but it gets easier the more you work on it. Practice makes progress. Nobody's perfect. Love and light, beautiful souls. God loves you. Your angels love you. I love you. Keep speaking your truth. All this light worker stuff is for a purpose and a reason, and we're about to find out very shortly. Love and light, beautiful souls. Have a wonderful day.